What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. Hey, we're having this conversation in that secret group I was telling you about earlier, and it's about homosexuality and the gay gene. They like to say, person is born gay, and I'm about to give you my hypothesis on this, and this is purely my hypothesis. Sorry about the lighting; it's kind of funky. It makes me look funny, but it'll work. Um, and my hypothesis is something that you won't hear anywhere else. You won't hear it. Nobody's done studies on it, and this is just something that came to me while I was working in London, and this guy decided to go 100% transgender and get like a reassignment operation, whatnot. But at the same time, he had sexual harassment cases against him by women, but he became a woman, and it set off a whole cascade of like thoughts and ideas and concepts, and I finally brought it down to this. So first and foremost, we need to look at the animal kingdom for an example. So what we're going to look at is we're going to look at cephalopods, cuttlefish. Now, if anybody's seen a cuttlefish, it's sort of like a small type of octopus type thing. Now, cuttlefish are a tournament species. That means those whose sexual dimorphism favors reproduce. Now, of course, there is a large variation of sexual dimorphism within the species, both between males and females. The males tend to be much larger than the females, but there is a significant degree of difference between sexual dimorphism in the males. Some males are smaller, some are larger. Now, the smaller male is disadvantaged in the tournament reproductive phase of their lives because he can't outfight the males. And what happens is the males, a female can carry sperm packets from the males. And when the egg develops, she'll use the sperm packets to fertilize the eggs. And she can carry more than one sperm packet from more than one cuttlefish. So the males, will mate guard until the eggs hatch. Or until she, sperminates or germinates the eggs, what's it called? Until she puts the sperm on the eggs to ensure that he is the only one or the primary one that she's carrying the sperm packet with. Now, when cuttlefish meet, they have two ways of deciphering which is male and female. There are no real clear deciphering differences between them, like men and women. You know how men have beard hairs and we don't have boobs and big butts and stuff. We can easily tell a male from a female. Well, we used to be able to, just by visual. But cuttlefish don't have this. First and foremost, they use dimorphism, the size, and secondly, when cuttlefish approach one another, they sort of swim forward. I'm going to try and do this. They swim forward, and when they meet each other, the males flare out their tentacles as a type of like way of like challenging, I guess, each other for who's larger, who's going to be whatever else, who's going to fight. The females don't have the capability to do this. So when a female approaches a male or a male approaches a female, the male will flare his tentacles, and they have like a few other things, like they have brighter stripes on their tentacles, but they can also change the color of those tentacles, and the females won't. And then they'll know that's a female, and they'll start the whole, tournament mating process. Now, the smaller males, of course, can't compete with the larger males. How does he reproduce? Well, the smaller males have managed to develop an alternative strategy to where when they approach a male, they don't flare out their tentacles like most males do. So what happens is the male thinks it's a female, and he allows the smaller male, who doesn't flare out his tentacles like most males, to pass. He doesn't challenge him or attack him. Now what happens? He sneaks past the large male who's mate guarding, because he's like up above the female, watching out, so he can keep a good downward view on what's going on. And then he sneaks up and drops his sperm packet with the female. The female doesn't care. She just wants to reproduce. Her lineage is going to be passed on no matter what. The male has to ensure that his is passed on. This goes back to my last video about cuckoldry. So he is some people call them sneaky bastards, and that's what they are. So now, if we can take that example from the animal kingdom, what's to say that this very same reproductive strategy does not exist in humans? We have a precedence for it. So it could be the case that males in the past who could not compete in the environment because we are a mix between tournament and pair bonding species. So maybe a male wasn't a highly competitive tournament type male, an alpha male, nor was he an excellent provider type, caregiver. He just was sort of floating around in the middle there, between the two. And he wasn't good at this and he wasn't good at that. Who's to say that they didn't develop a strategy which makes them emulate female behavior? We're talking about human males here, in order to gain closeness to females without alerting the alpha male, because he sees him as in an ineffectual competition for him as an alpha. And therefore he's like, oh, hey girl, blah. He's acting like a gay guy to get close to the woman. And then eventually mates with the woman. And how many times, and this could be a manifestation of that type of behavior. Now, this manifests itself in women also. How? How many times have you heard a woman say all the good men are taken, aka the alphas, or they're gay? So there is an attraction to these gay guys. And this is how that gay gene, if you will manifest itself upon a female. Now, here's the thing. He's not born gay. He's just born with an alternative reproductive strategy. But because we have complex neocortex and we logic out and rationalize everything, and we look as human beings at what is considered to be acceptable mate strategy or mating strategies, and we say, there's something wrong with me. I must like men, because I'm acting like a woman. And so he rationalizes out, logics out that he's gay or that he likes men. But no, he's just got an alternative strategy which makes him emulate female behaviors and mannerisms in order to get close to them so that he can gain access to them. Animals don't have a complex neocortex, and therefore they don't rationalize out their sexuality. They just have basic instincts and they follow them in order to meet their goal, which is reproduction and survival. So there is a degree of validity to the gay gene. Now, don't go around saying Abuamerican and Muslims who say that people are born gay and Allah's created people gay. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is people are created with an alternative reproductive strategy, and due to socialization, due to culture, they've come to think or believe that their strategy is not, or their strategy is a gayness or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is my hypothesis, so I haven't really worked out that part right there. But basically, socialization has taught them there's something wrong with them, and therefore they are gay and they like men. No, they don't like men. They're just trying to get access to women without going through an alpha male because they can't compete. So they have the urge to reproduce, obviously, because why would you have sex as a gay person? It doesn't make sense. Everything about sex is releasing sperm and eggs and whatever else, which are used for what? Reproduction. So why would you have an urge as a gay person to have sex and ejaculate sperm? Your body obviously desires to reproduce, and that's why you are ejaculating sperm as a man. So it doesn't make logical sense nor biological sense for him to have sexual urges if he likes men. Does that make sense? Because sex is all about reproduction. There's nothing else to it. Yes, you do get a degree of joy and whatnot and happiness from it, but that's also to encourage you to go out and want to reproduce. Anyway, this is my hypothesis. Shoot it down. Let me know. Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to add there. This is your man, Abuamerican. Catch me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Abuamerican. I'm out.